Sir, I sent you our live streaming, sir, now. The link for YouTube live streaming.
Okay, madam.
And I had made you host, sir.
Okay, madam. Okay. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, welcome to this one-day national online workshop on from Synopsis to Viva, drafting an impactful thesis. Dear participants, kindly introduce yourself through chat box, your name, designation, department, college or institute name, city name, etc. I repeat, dear participants, kindly introduce yourself through chat box, your name, designation, department, college name, city name, etc. Uh, at 7:35, we'll start the session. Professor Ganesh sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sharp at 7:35, we'll start the session, sir.
Okay, sir, sure.
Okay, sir.
यार आवाज ही नहीं आ रही है इसमें।
Yeah, Professor Ganesh sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, kindly introduce yourself and go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So I welcome you all to today's national level online workshop on From Synopsis to Viva, Crafting an Impactful Thesis. I am Dr. Ganesh Birazdar. Currently, I am working as Assistant Professor in Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Engineering, Akurdi, Pune. So today we are going to discuss about a journey from Synopsis to Viva. So before starting, just I would like to say some few points. Whether you're an undergraduate finishing your final project, or you may be a postgraduate student writing your dissertation, or many of you might be a research scholar preparing for your Viva. So if you are among these, then definitely this session will be for you. So writing a thesis is not just about submitting a document that we can say a report of few pages, 100, 200 pages. It's about telling a compelling story of our curiosity, critical thinking, and contribution to our desired field. So whichever research we are going to do or whichever research we are already in progress, that is always a thing of curiosity and our interesting area. So how this session will help you all? You will understood how to frame a research objective clearly. You will learn how to build a strong research proposal and synopsis. You will identify how to get literature gaps and organize our review. Then you can choose and justify your right methodology, whichever methodology you are going to use. You can structure and polish your thesis writing. Already you might have started. So today's session may help you to polish your research. And most importantly, it will give insight to prepare for your Viva with clarity and confidence. So let's start. So these are today's contents. Just I'm summarizing. First, objectives. Second, research proposal and synopsis. Third is literature review and literature gap. Research methodology, thesis writing, and last one will be our preparation of Viva. So these are the objectives. Understand how to frame research objectives clearly. Learn how to build a strong research proposal and synopsis. Identify literature gaps and organize our review. Choose and justify the right methodology for our research. Structure and polish our thesis writing. And most importantly, we have to prepare for our Viva with clarity and confidence. About me, I already said, Dr. Ganesh Birazdar, Assistant Professor, D.Y. Patil College of Engineering, Akurdi, Pune, from Maharashtra. So before starting or before proceeding to our this presentation, let me ask a first question, what actually a research synopsis is? There are two different parts or different terms. One is synopsis and another one is proposal. So what actually research synopsis is? A synopsis is a brief structured document that outlines the key element of our research from title and objectives to methodology and expected outcome. Why we need to write synopsis? The purpose of research synopsis is to first thing, the synopsis will communicate clearly and concisely what actually we have did or what actually we have proposed and proved to get formal approval to proceed with thesis writing or a Viva and to show that our research has a clear focus, academic value and methodological rigor, or we can say effort. So synopsis is a part that we are going to write before submission of thesis. And what is proposal? Proposal is that we are going to write or submit at the start of any approval. Either it may be your research registration or it may be any research funding proposal. So synopsis and proposal, these are two totally different things. So if I compare this both synopsis and proposal, proposal we have to give at the start of research and synopsis after major work is done. Means once you are comfortable with your research, you got particular results or satisfactory result, then we have to give synopsis. And once our synopsis is approved, then we can go for further submission of our thesis. For proposal, it is just detailed 8 to 20 pages or more. And synopsis is a concise, that is in short. So we are not going to give report. So first synopsis is approved. Once synopsis is approved, then we can go with submission of our thesis. So what actually research proposal is? Research proposal is, as I said, it is given before start of research. It is a blueprint of our research. It communicates what, why, and how. So what research we are doing, why we are doing that research, and how we are going to do that research, and it assesses feasibility and value. So key purposes for your research will be, it is blueprint for a research,
7:30 से
defines
9:30 का मेरा है दूसरा सेशन
your
का
research design, timeline, tools and goals all in one place. Communication tool tells you guide institute of funding body what you will do and how. It is a feasibility check, helps you to see whether your plan is practical, ethical, and valuable. Last, most important, that is clarity of focus, keeps our research on track, avoiding distraction and scope. Common sections in the research proposal will be title, introduction, problem statement, objectives or questions, literature review, methodology, timeline, and references. So as we are going through synopsis and proposal, most of the things are similar only. So in case of synopsis also, it contains title, introduction, problem statement, objective, hypothesis, or we can say research question, methodology, expected outcomes, and references. So most of the topics are same. Just the basic difference we have to understand when we have to give proposal and when we have to give synopsis. So synopsis is just the final stage or a semi-final stage where our synopsis of 3 to 4 pages, that is summarized content, will give approval of our final thesis or dissertation, and proposal will act as a what thing we are going to do. So proposal is written before the results and synopsis result written after the results. So title, that should be clear and specific topic name, introduction, brief context and background, what actually we are going to do. Problem statement will represent or should represent the gap or issue our research will address. Objective or questions, what we aim to discover or what we aim to achieve. Literature review, summary of past work, whichever thing we are going to decide. So literature review will always give an insight of previous work on the same topic. Methodology, that will be different methodology depend on which topic we are working. It consists of different types of design, sampling, different tools that we have to use, and most important thing that we have to stick up with it, that is ethics. Timeline, step-by-step plan with our duration, because whenever you are a student, then there is a timeline. Either it may be UG, PG, or postgraduate or PhD. Everywhere there is a timeline. So as a student, we have to cope up our research in particular timeline. And references, key sources you will refer to. So as I said, there is a ethics. So it is the most important thing of ethic, whichever paper or whichever article material we are using, we have to give their references and we have to cite them in our proposal or synopsis. A good proposal clearly answers what are you researching, topic, problem statement, and research design. Second, why are you doing it? Rationale, gap in literature, expected contribution, and how we will do it, methodology, sampling, tools, timeline. That's why I said whenever there is a good proposal or research thing is there, we need to ask three questions: what, why, and how. These three questions are most important thing. If you are clear with these all three questions, then your research is going to do very well. So different AI tools that help to build a proposal as well as synopsis. First one is a ChatGPT, open. It is a free as well as paid. Free just having limited means there is limitations to use the ChatGPT. What you can do there, you can draft problem statement and objective there. Illicit.org, we have to find papers to support our rationale. If suppose my topic is biomedical related, brain signal processing, then using this particular tool, we can identify the relatable papers that are already worked or already in process related to my subject. It is totally free of cost. Quillbot, paraphrasing and summarizing our literature review. It is again free and paid. If it is paid, then first they will give us a free version where only we have limited scope. And if you go with paid, then we will get all whichever services they are paying. Next is Zotero that manages references. Again, it is a free one. The most important thing while writing research proposal, what I think why we should go for this, because synopsis is a lighter work. So before writing to synopsis and Viva, to make our synopsis better, to get it selected and to make your Viva confident, we need all these topics beforehand. So if these topics are perfect one, then that will be easier to tackle. So choosing a meaningful topic. So it consists of totally 3 different points. First one, novelty. Second one, interest. And third one will be feasibility. So if you check these three, I'm showing a pie chart. It is having 33.3, 33.33.3. Means all these three plays important role in building a research. So what actually novelty is? So first we'll discuss about interest. It represents passion and curiosity, how passionate we are about our research and how much curious we are about the problem statement that we are going to define. So we generally care about the topic. We are curious to explore, solve, and understand something from our topic, and the topic aligns with our goal or specialization. Means whichever thing you are interested, always go for that. Second is feasibility. So time, resources, access, how much time you are having, how many resources we are having. So we have to access the data tool under the guidance. We can complete it within our available time and budget, and the research is practical and manageable. That is another thing, that is feasibility. And about novelty. So whatever research we are going to do, that should be always novel. So it should find a gap in literature, and whichever thing we are going to propose, that should be original, having truth. Framing a research hypothesis. Whenever we are going to do any research, the first important thing will be we have to give hypothesis. So what actually hypothesis is? It is a critical step in shaping a strong research project. Hypothesis means we are assuming some point that this is true, and finally with our result, with our experiment, we are making that whichever we have assumed previously, that is truth only. So hypothesis should be clear and focused, researchable, not vague or philosophical, and it should be specific to our own interesting field. So in clear and focus, what we can say, no vague language we should use. It must be precise and easy to understand. Whenever someone is reading the hypothesis, he should be able to understand it easily. Researchable, must be testable through data, not abstract or philosophical. Means there can be survey, experimental observation, which anyone can do, and he or she will get the same result. Field specific, so grounded in the language and variables of our domain, either it may be education, engineering, social science, pharmacy, or whichever may be the thing, that should be specific to our own field. Then and then only we'll get interest. Next will be defining our objectives and scope, research objective, what we aim to achieve. Action-oriented verbs like that we have to use either analyze, investigate, develop, compare, or validate. These are a few examples. You can use another words also. So scope will be define boundaries, time frame, region, population, tech limitation. Because research is never ending thing. So whenever we are going for any research, we should have our own boundaries. So we have to give a time frame that within this time we have to complete. We have to define our region of interest and population on which we are going to work, and there should be having some limitations so that our research will get perfect result, because as I said, research is never ending. How to frame research objective? If your research is analytical, verbs we can use analyze, examine, or investigate. For comparative research, compare, contrast, differentiate if it is between two or more things. Creative, if our research is creative, then we can use develop, design, or construct. If we are to go evaluation, then it we evaluate, validate, or test. And if it is exploratory, then it should be explore, identify, and discover. These are different things that we can think of. Depend on the verb that we can use in our research statement, our goal or our research will be of that type: analytical, comparative, creative, evaluative, or exploratory. What is scope of research? Time frame, geographical area, it will represent duration of study, location of study, population, on which population we are going to work, variables, factor will measure, technology or tools, that which platform we are going to use, which tools or devices we are going to use, and exclusions, what is not covered in our research. So whenever there is a research, it will be having scope and it will have different parameters. So whenever you're going to study your research, just go through these things, that these are different parameters. AI tool that will help for this. ChatGPT will draft research objective and scope. Again, it is free and paid, as I earlier said. Illicit.org, it will understand scope through paper reviews, and Quillbot, it for use for paraphrasing our scope of statement. Key component, again, as I said earlier, title, background or introduction, need, why there is a need of this research, that will be the most important thing or most important question. Objectives, research question, or we can say hypothesis, methodology that we are going to use, expected outcome, and references. So as I said, title, that should be clear and specific, should convey the research purpose clearly, avoid jargon, vague terms, or overly long titles. So don't go for a long title having 2 or 3 lines. Just go simple, sweet, and that should be clear one. For example, AI in healthcare, it is very short. So instead of that, what you can do, using AI-based deep learning for early detection of diabetic retinopathy in fundus images. This is longer one, but to understand it easier, we have to go such title. What a simple thing, what, where, how, that is most important questions, and we have to frame our research title in 12 to 15 words. It is just some rule. It's not compulsory that we have to measure 12 or 15. That can be in between 10 to 15, no issue. Background or introduction provides context and explains prior work, builds rationale by linking existing research to our interest, include domain context, brief literature overview, evolution of the problem. Next is need or problem statement. We have to identify a gap or a challenge in the current body of knowledge, back it up with literature or societal need. Whatever we are going to do, that should be having some backup and proof. So clearly connect this to research question, whatever we are having need. So depend on need or a problem that we are going to face or going to resolve, that should be in our problem statement. Objective should be state what you aim to achieve. Use action verbs like to analyze, to develop, to compare, to evaluate, as I earlier said. Usually 2 to 4 focused objective is ideal. And always set objectives that are feasible and that we can achieve after our research. Don't go just imaginary any objective to just impress your reviewer. So whichever objective we are going to achieve, that only you should, that's only in your synopsis or proposal. Next research question, hypothesis. Frame 1 to 2 questions that your thesis will try to answer. If applicable, add hypothesis for testing. Methodology overview, there are different types of methodology. We need brief explanation of research type, whether it's a qualitative, quantitative, or mixed, or simple one. The tools that we are going to use, surveys, sensors, ML methods, or simulation. We have to discuss about sample or population that we are going to work on. And we need to identify and give the data collection and analysis methods that we are going to use. Expected outcomes, what results or contributions are anticipated should align with objective. Means if I giving some objective, what objectives are? Objectives are nothing but the outcome or the output we are going to achieve after the span of our research. So expected outcomes will always should be correlated with our objectives. References, minimum 5 to 10 well chosen, recent and reputable sources. That should be your first references. Then you can go with different references. If suppose you are referring one paper as a reference paper or your best paper, then one another way to go for different research or references is whichever paper we are taking as a best paper, we can refer the references from that paper also. So that will be again one easier thing. So we have to format citation correctly, avoid relying only on random blogs. So don't go the data from the Google, always use some authenticate papers that we can get from IEEE or another things. So whichever these reputed journals are there, already there. Every journal will be having paid access. So just if you are working in some organization, you can get that access and you can identify the papers. Literature review and research gap, as I said earlier, what actually literature review is? If I'm working on a particular problem statement, then first important thing will be we have to go with structure survey of existing research. Means whichever problem statement I wanted to discuss, first we have to check whether any work is already has been done or not. So if it is done, we have to go through that paper keenly and we have to check which methodology that author have used and what are their results, what is its limitations and what are their future scope. Everything we can go through this literature. Identifies what has already been done and highlights theories, methods, result and contradictions. If there are some contradictions, we can remove that contradiction in our further research. Research gap, we have to collect 20 to 30 relevant papers related to our research. Categorize them by topic, method, and findings. Means suppose there are 2 or 3 topics in our research statement, then depend on that research topic, we have to just segregate our papers. Then depend on methodology. If suppose there is a one group of same topic, then we can differentiate using AI, whether he have used AI, whether he have used different tools like that, we can just again group them. Note limitations, contradictions, and future work section, because whenever we deal with any literature review paper, that is the first point where we can get future scope or future work idea. So from that also we can design our research statement. So ask what has not been studied yet or what problems remains unsolved. So from that paper, what we can understand, which area has not been touched yet. So that can be research gap, and depend on that research gap, we can go through this. So whenever there is a Viva or something, there will be first most important question, why you have choose this topic. So for that also we should know what actually research gap. So you can clearly or confidently say that this was the research gap I found. So I'm interested to work on that. I have started the work. What is literature review? As I said, structure survey of existing research, identifies what has already has been done, and highlights theories, method, result, and contradiction. Why we have to do that literature review? Understand the current state of knowledge, avoid duplication, because if we went for duplication, then it come under plagiarism. So we have to go through the literature review, learn about research methods used, spot contradictions and open questions, justify our own research direction. Visual tip, use a layered funnel image from general field to specific gap. That is just an image that is used for literature review. So database and use case where we can get this. So IEEE Explorer, we can use it for engineering, electronics, computer sciences. IEEE Explorer, we can get a number of papers. Science Direct, Springerling, Google Scholar, and PubMed. These are different sites or websites where we can get reliable sources of literature. Because whenever we search a particular data in ChatGPT, there is a straightforward warning below your data that ChatGPT does not guarantee the truth of its information. So it's 100% not correct. So whichever data we are taking from the chat GPT, we have to check its authenticity and reliability, whether it is exactly true or not. So always go with reliable resources so that our work will be shorter and easier one. AI tools for literature review again, illicit.org, connected papers, visual map of related papers. These are free one. Research Rabbit, again the same free. ChatGPT, site.ai, Zotero, or we can say Menly. These are different websites. Whenever you go on Google, you can search and you can directly get its free access. Just you have to sign in through your Gmail. How to read a research paper efficiently? So for literature, we have selected different papers. The most important thing, we have to gain some insight from that paper. So for that, what is needed? The most important thing is we have to read that research paper. How to read it efficiently? Smart reading strategy. Start with abstract and conclusion. First, read the abstract. From abstract only, we will understood what actually inside that paper, because every research paper through the standard resource will be having at least 5 to 6 pages with font of 12. So it will be having more knowledge. So instead of wasting our time to go from first to last line, first start with the abstract and go with conclusion. Skim introduction and figures tables. Then read methodology and discussion. Save useful ones with notes. So if your conclusion is perfect, if you understood the conclusion, if it is related to your area, your area of interest or objective, then you can keep that paper for your reference. Otherwise, you can directly discard it. We get highlight key terms in your paper, make marginal notes, and use sticky notes for important references. That will be always better one. There are again these different steps. First, start with abstract, read it fully, gives you a snapshot of an entire paper. Means that is the mirror where you can understand each and every thing in your paper. Jump to directly conclusion, read main findings, what actually he found. Means abstract will give the basic idea, but conclusion will give what actually he have achieved, what he have not achieved, and what are its pros and cons. Introduction, read first and last para. I'm not saying about skip, I'm saying skim introduction. Read first and last para, because whichever introduction that is started at the first, it is ended at the last. Learn the problem, background, and a gap. Examine figures and tables. Visual data, just go through the figure. If they are interesting, just go to figure title. You can check what actually he got. Quick view of the key results. Read methodology. Look at sample tools and techniques. Every research is having methodology and some key points. So just reading key points, you will understood which methodology or which tools he have used. Read discussion. Focus on implications and future work. Shows value, possible gaps. Decide, keep or skip. So once you go through this all 6 steps, then you have to decide, depend on your research objective, your interest area of interest, whether to keep that paper for your reference or skip. Avoid wasting time on irrelevant paper. It is clear instruction. Don't go for downloading 50 to 60 papers and go on reading. It is just a waste of time. Just go for 10 to 20 papers. Go through these steps, smart reading strategy, and jump to conclusion, and always go through some proper references that will help in your research. Citation managers, organize, automate. These are for citation. Again, I am saying about Zotero, Menly, and EndNote. These are different tools that we can use for our citation. Identifying the research gap. Once we are going to read, the next step will be we have to find out the research gap. Steps to find a gap. Collect 20 to 30 relevant papers, categorize them by topic, method, or findings. Note their limitations, contradictions, and future work section. Most 3 important things. Either limitations, contradictions, or future work. Every research paper will have at least one out of these 3. Ask what has not been studied yet or what problems remain unsolved. For example, most studies on AI in education focus on assessment. To explore AI in student mental health support, next is to create a gap map. That is a visual tip again. Whichever gap we are going to find, we have to just make its map. So center, keep your topic, then go with different branches, just a diagrammatic structure, and from that you can get different parameters. So this will be easier to understand the gap, and it will be easier to present your research gap. There are different tools for visualization, mind map, Coggle, or Excel or Canva for matrix based mapping. So these are different links for that. Google Scholar, Zotero download, mainly download, mind map and Coggle. That are mind maps where you have to just enter the data, it will give visualization. Sample mind map, as I said, research gap is in between. So it may be benefits, application, existing research, challenges. So these are different maps, or we can say different parameters. AI tools to help you find gaps, illicit.org, Research Rabbit, Connected Paper, Site.ai, ChatGPT. If you check these all PPTs, most of the thing or most of the AI tools that I am describing are similar one. So those are free, that is always good, and those are paid one. You can take subscription of anyone for your research use for 2 or 3 years you can use, and that most of the work can be done using the same thing. So till now we have studied what actually research proposal, what is synopsis, how to go with research, how to define a problem statement, how to find out research gap, how to go with literature review to understand which work has been done. So next step will be what actually research methodology is, means which research methodology we are going to use in our research. A systematic plan of conducting research that outlines the type of research, whether it is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed one. It also includes the tools and techniques and strategy that we are going to use to collect and analyze the data. Types of research methodology, as I said, qualitative, exploring meanings and experiences. It is related to quality. For that, the tool that we are using is interviews or case studies. So taking interview either individual face-to-face, that will give us qualitative analysis. Quantitative, it is focusing on numbers instead of quality. So it gives measuring, testing, or comparing. For that, we can go with surveys and experiments, where we can go with Google form or printed surveys. That is also useful. Mixed methods, combining both with qualitative as well as quantitative. So interviews plus statistical analysis from the interview. Tools and software again, statistical analysis, SPSS, MATLAB, Python. There are different libraries, Pandas, NumPy, SciPy, and Vivo and Excel. These are the Excel is most strongest software that we can use for a survey, data tracking, basic statistics value calculation, and for graph and visualization. Though as we are in AI era, most of the people are thinking that Excel is not useful, but Excel is most useful thing now also. Samples and data collection, whenever we have to go with research methodology, we have to collect data. So the sample size we can calculate depend on again our requirement. So for data collection, the different methods, either surveys, online, offline, anything that be there, interview, again online, offline, observation that you are going to do for the time span, experiment that we have to perform, and secondary data, that is published data set. If you go through literature review, if it is related to work on data set, then that research paper will always mention from where the author has took the data set. So from that also you can take the data set. For example, if you are interested to work on medical data set, you can get it from online website. That will be online data set, and also you can visit some nearby hospital, and from there also you can request. If you unsign the ethical paper, then you will get the data set that will be your real-time data set. So for example, you can visit kaggle.com, kaggle.com. Kaggle.com is also having different or number of a data set that can be used for research, and already people are using for the research. Depend on the research work you are doing, depend on the requirement of your guide, whether he or she wants your research should be on online or real-time data set. You have to collect and you have to change your data collection method. Next is different tools that we have to use for a survey. Google Forms or Microsoft Forms that we can use, design easily. It is again free. ChatGPT, generate sample question interview templates. It will give us, if suppose I have to go with Google form formation, then ChatGPT will suggest you which different kinds of questions should be there. Which your questionnaire we are going to form for our Google form, that should be again clear and concise. So from question and from your Google form, the participant should know what actually you want from them and what actually you are going to do, the data are taken from them. Again, Otter.ai, SPSS, and AP.info. These are different tools that we can use for our data collection. Validity and reliability. So whichever research we have doing, that should be valid one. Content, construct, and external generality. Validity. Are you measuring what you intend to? And reliability, are result consistent across time or tools? What validity means whichever thing I'm going to ask from the questionnaire, that should be related to our objective only. And second, reliability, whichever results I'm taking from the questionnaire or survey, that result should be always constant over the time span. Ethical consideration, as I said, ethics is the most important thing in our research, because if we does not follow the ethical rule, or if you violate these rules, then whichever research you are going to do, whichever papers you already published, that can be withdrawn if you does not follow the ethics. The most important thing or example in ethics is plagiarism. What actually plagiarism is? Whichever data you are going to submit for publication, that data should not be copied from any other sources. For that, there are different tools that can check your plagiarism. So one request is, whenever you are going to check your plagiarism from your original work, never go to free websites. Always go with paid websites that are already in your university or suggested by university, or having some services with paid version. So that is always better, because if you upload your thesis or work on online free website, then everything will be again showed as a plagiarism in your authenticate tool. So informed consent, whenever you have to need participation from the others, then we have to inform them and we have to take their consent that why we are doing this and why we are taking the information from them. Privacy and confidentiality. If you are taking the data from some people, then there should be privacy. We should not declare name of anyone. And the participant should have trust on you that the data which they are going to share will be always confidential. You can use the data, you can use the information, but you cannot reveal who have given and what he or she have said. Plagiarism evidence, as I already said. Conflict of interest. Approval from institutional ethics committee if human animal research. As I said, if we are going to work on biomedical data, then we have to visit the medical hospitals or some organization where we have to need approval from committee, because every medical institute will be having an ethical committee. So without approval from them, you cannot proceed further. So for that, you have to just write one application, one paper, you have to just sign. And in your thesis or research work, you have to mention that I will not violate any rule and I will not disclose the name of any participant. That is the most important thing. Useful researches, useful resources for this page research method. Khan Academy stats and sampling, that is just for videos are there. Southside sample calculator, which will give you different tools to work on that. So this is a short quiz to find out whether qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods best fits your thesis approach. As I said, Google form. I also form on Google form. I will just send this link in your chat box. What you can do, you can just fill that form. Again, before filling that form, what I will tell, just let me share this form first. This is not any feedback form. If you want to check, I can show you what are contents of this form. Okay, this is what our form. So what is this? Which research method fits your study? What you have to do, simply you have to just answer this. It's not mandatory you have to answer now only. You have to just answer what kind of data you will collect, what is your preferred analysis style, how many participants will you work with. A, B, C, three options are there. It's your choice or it's your preference whether to give A, B, C. Once you fill this form, lastly, you can just check in which category you are there. If your answers are mostly A, you can say it is qualitative methodology. If mostly B, it is quantitative. And if it is a combination of both, then it is mixed method. It is just simple survey form I want to show you, that using such survey form, you can find out your data set. So take this short quiz to find out whether qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods best fits your thesis approach. You can go anytime, no issue. And you yourself can find out whether your research is qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. Just coming towards our presentation. So whenever you'll get time, you can just fill that form and you can cross check which type of research you are going to do. So useful resources again, there are different aspects: goal, data type, data collection, analysis, sample size, strength, limitation, tools. So for this first goal, understand meaning, experience, context. Qualitative is different, quantitative is different, and mixed method is different. So what we are defining goals for all three. What is goal in case of qualitative? We have to understand meaning, experience, and context. In case of quantitative, we have to measure variable, test hypothesis, it will be numerical one, and this combination will be in mixed method. Data type, in case of quality, textual, non-numeric, but in case of qualitative, it will be always numeric and it should be measurable, or we can say countable. Data collection, in case of quality, will be interview, focus groups, or observation. In case of quantitative, we have to go with surveys, experiments, and structured data. Analysis, thematic will be there. We have to describe in theme, narrative, or content based. But in case of quantitative, we have to go with statistical analysis or computation analysis, where the result will be always a number. Depend on number, we can identify your accuracy. Sample size, in case of quality, small and focused, you just focus on some sort of group, but in case of quantity, it's large, representative. Strengths, in case of quality, in-depth insight, rich contextual data. In case of quantitative, it is generalized one and objective one. Limitation, in case of qualitative, hard to generalize, time consuming. Means if you are taking data from 3 or 4 people, it is hard to generalize from all, because opinion of 3 or 4 person will be different from others. As data set is less or very low in case of qualitative, we cannot generalize it easily. And in case of quantitative, may miss context or the integrity. Tools, there are different tools I have mentioned: NVO, Atlas, .TM, manual coding. Or in case of useful resources, in case of quantitative, SPSS, Excel, R, Python, MATLAB. These are different tools where we can go with programming or some way of syntax is already inbuilt in that will give you directly technical or quantitative analysis. So next part will be writing thesis. What actually thesis is now? As I said earlier, proposal and synopsis are two different parts. Proposal is at the start of your research journey, where we are proposing that this will be my data, this will be my work, that I'm going like this way. What actually synopsis? Once you have understood the your statement, problem statement, once you did some work, experiments, you collected the data, you are applying some algorithm methodology on that data, and you are getting some fruitful results. Then after getting the results, you have to give your synopsis to some committee. If that synopsis gets approved, then and then only you are eligible to submit your thesis in case of PG or PhD. So once your synopsis is approved, so what will be next step? We have to write a thesis. What actually thesis is? Thesis is again a combination of all these terms already we have discussed. That will be title, again objective, your research statement, problem statement, literature review, research gap, again methodology that we are going to use, which different methodology we are going to use. If I'm setting 2 or 3 objectives, then our thesis should have all these objectives solved. Again, for writing thesis, there is a different structure. So first is you have to understand the thesis structure. Know where you are working, in which university you are doing your research. Depend on university rules and regulation, thesis structure will be different. So in common, I will give chapter-wise thesis breakdown. First will be introduction, obviously. It should contain research problem, objective, scope, significance, why I am selecting this topic. Second will be literature review, existing research. Depend on existing research, we have to go through gap analysis, theoretical background, chapter 3 methodology, result, discussion, conclusion, reference, and appendix. Common mistakes that we have to avoid: plagiarism, intentional or accidental. Intentionally we cannot copy, but suppose still we have given something, then before submitting to your university or committee, go through a proper website or proper channel Just check plagiarism first, then make changes, then and then only submit that thesis. Because in most of the university, what happens, whenever you are going to submit thesis, they have given some requirement that their plagiarism should be below this particular value. If it is above that, they will reject. And rejecting thesis due to plagiarism, it's always having limitation 1 or 2 or 3 times. Once it is rejected 2 or 3 times, your thesis will be totally rejected and you have to start it with again. So better before submitting to your university, always get it checked from authenticate tool. Weak objective research questions, it should not be there. Poor structure or flow between chapters. Every chapter should be interlinked. If you want, what you can do, after every chapter, you can give summary because your thesis will be of 100 or 200 pages. So it's not feasible to read your reviewer. So what you do, every chapter will have some introduction of that particular chapter and last summary of that chapter. So that will be easier to understand your thesis. Overuse of passive voice or vague words. Always use grammar. So for that, Grammarly is there. Again, different websites are there. Again, Grammarly is a free tool. If you upload your thesis there, again, it may fall to plagiarism. So always use licensed one only. Incorrect citation formatting. Make citation properly. If suppose you have given citation to one figure, if it is present, then and then only give, because there may be some cross-checking whether you are giving the same or correct citation. Lack of proofreading. So whichever you are writing, that should be having some proofs or some backend data. Plagiarism checking tool, as I said, Turnitin, Grammarly, Quillbot. There are many more. I'm just giving some samples here. Referencing style, APA, IEEE, MLA, there are again different referencing style. Out of that, I'm just going with some standard. Again, university will tell you which reference style we have to use. If university is not mentioning, you can use always APA style. For this, you can use Google Scholar. In that also, you can get your APA format, or there are different AI tools that can just give your references in different styles. Again, if you are going to publish any paper, then each publication or each publisher will have their own demand. They will give some text format or reference format. We have to format our references in that style. And while giving references, what is most important thing? Your references should always start with recent to older one. That is always important. Recommended tools for writing: tool Overleaf, Grammarly, Quillbot, Turnitin. Overleaf is used for LaTeX editor for clean formatting. So again, there is a two different condition to write your paper in simple Word, MS Office, or in using LaTeX. Again, depend on requirement of university. If university is saying just go through LaTeX, then you have to submit your report only in LaTeX. LaTeX is again simple tool where we have to write some program. In that program, you have to just copy paste our thesis from the Word. So automatically your thesis will be getting formatted. Grammarly is for writing assistant to check your grammar and make your statements fruitful. Quillbot, paraphrasing, use with care, and Turnitin, plagiarism detection. I'm just giving sample things here. You can take your own. Make sure whichever things you are going to use, that everything are authenticated and with license, so that your research will be yours only. Practical tips for thesis writing: start early, break into small goals. If your research is spanning for 4 or 5 years, never wait for 4 or 5 years to complete. Whenever your first objective is achieved, you start writing your introduction, literature review. It is already started. So just go time bit by bit or step by step. That will be easier. Use Grammarly for tone, clarity, and conciseness. Follow formatting guide as per your university. Use LaTeX if mandatory, if compulsory. That is Overleaf you can use. That is again a free for math citation and TOC, term of conditions. Iterate, multiple drafts, supervisor feedback, proofread or use peer reviews. Now last point will be our facing the Viva with confidence. So what actually Viva is? Once you have submitted your thesis, it will go through again proofreading and all reviews and all. You will get review from the external reviewer and internal reviewer. Whichever reviews are there, that we have to correct and we have to resubmit our thesis if reviews are more, then depend on university, there are different ways after submission of thesis. So the reviewer will give that Viva can be conducted just with few minor revisions. Another review will be Viva should be conducted only after you have to complete your reviews, and once you have updated the reviews, your thesis will again go back to the reviewer. He will check whether already you have corrected or not. Then and then only it is expected for the Viva. And most of the times what happen, if revisions are minor, errors are minor, issues are minor, what reviewer said that just do these all reviews and we have to send one document to university that these were the review and these are what the correction I have did. And at the time of Viva, if reviewer is interested, he will ask whether have you done the correction. So you should be able to tell what was the error or what was the mistake he have raised and what we have done, what we have did in our research. So the Viva is not an interrogation, it's not an interrogation. It is an opportunity to defend our work, demonstrate our understanding, and engage in academic discussion. If our research is a perfect one, if you followed all the steps from first to last with interest, then Viva is just a formality, a simple 30 to 40 minutes of work, your presentation that you will just win. So tip is, the goal is not a perfection, it's clarity, honesty, and confidence. It may happen. Sometimes you might feel conscious or you some feel low confidence. It's okay. That doesn't think that whichever question your external is asking, you should tell each and everything clearly. Sometimes you can accept that this much I have did. You can tell in your own language, in your own understanding. That is also okay. Never go with low confidence. Structure of our presentation: title slide, name, topic, guide, institution. Again, depend on university, you need to put your university name also. Research objectives, what you aim to do, 2-3 clear objectives. These objectives should be matching with your objective that you have given in your thesis. Methodology, overview of methods, tools, and design. Key result, because this will be of 200 pages or 300 pages. So putting each and everything in presentation is worst thing. So what is needed? Just go point wise. Methodology, overview of methods, tools, and design. Key result that we can represent in the form of chart, graph, and tables with brief explanation. Never go with major text. Contribution, what new knowledge or solution you offered. The most important question will be what you did in your research or what is your work in this research. So what different thing you did. For that, if your first study is precise one, that what is research gap, what others have been done. If you are easily understood that, then you can say what different thing you did. Conclusion and future work, takeaways and next steps. As I said, research is never ending. If you are saying this is what research, after that there will be nothing. It is again foolish thing. You say your conclusion, what you can say? You can say this may be a future work, this can be done. So whenever you submit any thesis, you complete your Viva, your report will guide next researcher to work on new problem statement. Last will be your thank you slide and invite question confidently, no issue. Because sometimes what happens, if you are less confident what you do, we just omit or ignore the last thank you or question answer slide. So that is not good. Preparing for common Viva question, general question, what inspired this topic? What is the central contribution of your thesis? How is your method better than the existing one? Literature review, methodology best. Why did you choose this method? What alternatives did you consider? Means have you did anything else? Why you selected the same thing and what result you got? Result best, can you explain this chart or table? So which result you are putting there, you should be able to explain that. Were there any unexpected results? Have you got any problem there? That will be also a question. Critical thinking, what are the limitations of your study? How would you improve it in future? In future, not exactly at that time. If your Viva is going to be conducted, so 99.9% it is successful one. In very unlucky cases or some technical issue only that is repeated, otherwise every time your Viva is successfully done. So though in Viva you are externally asking some questions or some modification that can be done later, it is not the part of your PhD research, that can be next part. So tip, practice answers out loud. Clarity builds a confidence. So before proceeding for your final presentation, you have to give it to your friends, colleagues, or anyone, or you can, if you are shy, then you can just try it in front of mirror. Handling criticism and nerves. So as an external, it is his or her work to make you unconfident and to make sure that you don't know anything. So what you do? First thing will be harsh or critical feedback. Stay calm, ask clarifying question what actually he wanted to say. Don't argue defensively. Yes, whatever you are saying, that is true, but in my way, I want to tell like this. Tough questions, admit if unsure. Say how you would explore or learn. If you don't know, you can say, I don't know, I will work on that, or I can do that. Stage fear. If you're having stage fear, always try for the practice. Practice will make you perfect. Practice with peers, record yourself, breath intentionally. So most of the time, simple way, just record yourself and listen to yourself. Then you will understand where you are getting problem, where you are getting nerves. That is best one. Fast-paced panels, slow down your speech, stay structured. Sometimes what happens? Due to tension or anxiety, what we actually do, if there are 10 to 15 slides and if you already allotted the time of 20 or 50 minutes, what you do, due to anxiety, we start speaking the statements continuously without waiting the answer from the other, without looking to the front. So 20 minutes presentation will be completed into only 10 minutes. So that is again a worse situation. So for that, what is needed? We have to practice and we have to make particular pauses. So confidence comes from the clarity and preparation, not perfection. It's not like that you are submitted your thesis, you are have going for Viva. That doesn't mean you are a perfect one. Whichever things you have did till today, you only have did. So your confidence and clarity will be fruitful, will make you win situation. Time management tips, keep it under 12 minutes. As I said here, 12 minutes, it depends on again if it is paper presentation, 12 to 15 minutes, or if it is Viva, 20 to 30 minutes, depend on your guide requirement or person to person, it may vary. Focus on your contribution, what actually we did. Use 3 to 4 keywords per slide, avoid paragraph. So every slide should have few words, and that few words you can explore. So control space, one slide per 60 to 90 seconds. Don't go that first 10 slides you went for 20 minutes and last 10 slides you just finish in 5 minutes. Don't do like that. Every slide should have equal importance. 1 or 2 minute difference is okay, but make sure every slide has some information that you wanted to give. Use speaker notes or cue cards if needed. Suppose if you are not much confident about whichever data you have put there or how to speak it, you can just take some handouts with you to explain or to take help of that to explain. That is always better. But never go with maximum text in your slide. Slide should always have 2 to 3 major points. Good visual aids. So whichever diagrams you are using, that should be HD1 or more clear. Don't copy and paste from the Google. If you know how to use Microsoft PowerPoint, you can prepare the diagrams in PowerPoint also. Use high contrast slides, dark text on light or vice versa. So white black combination is again good. As it is a presentation, I went for this, but for Viva, whenever you go for academic things, there should be background should be formal one. Highlight key findings with bold or color. Limit animations, keep it professional. Don't go for extra limitation. Don't go for high coloring. Practice with a clicker or keyboard for smooth transition. Now, suppose you are using normal keyboard while your presentation in day-to-day life, but at the time of Viva, if the examiner is asking to use slider, then make sure you are having slider beforehand and you are checking the how it is sensitive to your pressing of button. So that is also important thing. Tools, PowerPoint, Google Slide, Canva, LaTeX Beamer, these all things you can use for your preparation of PPT. So these are different points. Structure your presentation, prepare for common questions, handling criticism and nerves, time and slide management, visual aids matter, boost your confidence and helpful tools. Now from synopsis to Viva, crafting an impactful, this is what we need: research proposal writing, literature review and research gap, methodology selection, Useful tools, facing the Viva with confidence, and thesis writing. These are different points that we have discussed today. Conclusion. An impactful thesis is not just well researched, it's well presented, ethically written, and confidently defended. So if your research is very perfect, very good, but if you cannot represent or cannot make it understand to the next person, then again it is having failure. So make sure you are doing research well and good with step by step. But at the time of Viva, you should present it well and good. It should be ethically supported, and you should always speak with confidence. Whichever data you are going to speak, it should be always confident. External may make you confuse you in between your result, whether it is true or false or like that. Whichever your answer will be there, always stick to your answer only. That is the most important thing. So thank you. And if you have any question, you can ask. This is what my YouTube channel. That is Empower Tech Minds. So thank you everyone for patient listening. I think it's 8:38 already. 70 minutes you have listened patiently. So if you have any question or doubt, you can ask, unmute your mic, or you can just put it in your chat.
Sir, I have one question. How
Yeah,
much
just
how much slide should be there for your final defense, Viva?
there is nothing any fixed number of slides. Depend on our again your thesis. If suppose you
And
are having 2 or 3 objective, then each objective will have single slide, right? Then, as I said earlier about there are different title, objective, research method, literature review. So what you do if you are having 10 to 20 topics in your thesis, each topic should have at least one slide, minimum one slide, and mostly focus on result, because sometimes what happens, though you have prepared 20 to 30 slides, your external is interested only on result. What he will do, he will just tell you to start with introduction, then he will ask to go with objective, and directly he will tell you to switch to methodology. In between, he will not go with literature review and all, because he's not interested what actually others have did. He or she will be interested what actually you have did as a researcher. So number of slides, there is no any numbers, and don't go for any very minimum. Just go with 20 to 30 slides is also okay if you are confident about your presentation. No
okay.
issue.
Sir, one more question.
Yes.
Sir, whenever we submit synopsis, at that time many of the objectives are not so clear, and at the time of submission of thesis, we may enhance the objectives, or we can add some during the result analysis, or is that possible? Is it acceptable?
Depend on again university. What you have to do, you have to just ask to your seniors, those have completed the research from the university. You can also consult your guide. What I said, research proposal, what you do, we submit at the time of registration, right? There also we give some objective. But
Yeah.
while submitting your synopsis, when you have to submit your synopsis, when your all objectives are completed. So synopsis is a mirror or a proof or a document that will help for our final submission. So if you want, if guide permits or university permits, you can change your objective at the time of submission of synopsis. That is okay. But once you have submitted synopsis, then there is no any way to change your objective. That objective will be always final, and that will be carried out till your final thesis or Viva.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
And particular university, what they do, they ask for synopsis as well as thesis. So
Yeah.
both
Yeah. Yeah.
documents, both documents you have to submit there. So if there is
Yeah.
a drastic difference in between synopsis and thesis, then again it will be a matter of problem. So make
Uh,
sure whichever things you are going to do it authentically and ask to your guide, and without any consent from the guide, don't do anything.
Yeah, okay. So one last question.
Yes.
From many of the days during my research journey, I had attended many of the Vivas. So I had seen many of the methods to represent the literature review in the slide. Sir, which can be the best method so that we can express what we had done in the literature review? What is expected
Dep
in literature review
depend
in
on
presentation?
depend on again your research work. See, literature review, if suppose you have reference, you are having reference of 20 to 30 papers, right? 30, 40 papers in here you are going to use out of these 4 years or 5 years span.
Yeah.
Now what you do, you have to just take 4 or 5 papers that are most related to your topic and your objective. For each objective, you can take 1 or 2 papers that are having literature related to yours. Then there is a 2 or 3 different ways. Either you can go point by point, that paper one, author, his limitations, and what you did. Another one, there will
Findings,
be findings. Another will be compared in table format.
tabular
Table
forms. Yeah.
format, tabular form. That also you can go. Never compare your literature review in between their papers, because if you go with comparison, then there will be again problem, because for our every point you will not get comparison point in that paper. So what you do,
Okay.
either go with tabular method or point wise method. If you go tabular method, then if suppose you are going for 4 columns, point
Yeah.
1, point 2, point 3, point 4, then it is, if it is easy to find all 4 points in all papers, then you can go with tabular. If it is not there, you can just go with point wise. That is
Point
also
wise,
okay, no issue.
bulleted form.
Bullet point, that is also okay.
Sir, if we gave any hyperlink in the PPT to some Word file for representation of literature review in exhaustive manner, is it
No, no,
is
no, no
it
need, no need.
no need?
Always avoid that, because suppose
Okay.
what is literature review, whichever thing you understood, that only you are giving in your slide. If you
Okay.
give as an exhaustive manner, if external is interested in different thing, what you will do? So
Okay.
always go with
Okay.
short only. Literature, you already
Yeah.
heard it. The references are there. Your thesis is there. In thesis, you already given exhaustive research,
Yeah.
exhaustive literature review. He or she already have read that. So don't
Yeah.
force him to ask question on literature review. What is most
Literature
important
review.
thing? Your objective, your methodology, your result, your conclusion, and what actually you did in your research. That is the most important thing in your life.
Okay. So sometimes I had attended some Viva. Some students had re-registered due to some reason they had not submitted in the set period of 6 years or 5 years. So if the research extend to some like 8 years or 10 years, sir, what is the expectations from the external referee during that defense?
No,
क्योंकि
just
सर
listen. हाँ,
या
कहिए.
सर क्योंकि सर क्या होता है कि टॉपिक का एनहांसमेंट होता है और सीएस फील्ड में ऐसा है कि बहुत जल्दी अपडेशंस आते हैं
Excuse me.
या
Kindly ask questions in English so that
या
all
या
can understand this
yeah,
common
yeah.
language.
So what happens
Okay.
during the journey if the some people doesn't get possible to submit in the set period, and if they submit in the secondary registration phase, the topic gets updated during that phase. And what is the expectation from the referee so that before 8 years the topic was something and now the updation has been very different. So objectives very difficult to defend that objectives at that moment.
Yeah, so for that, what is expected if you're registered in 2017, you suppose, and if
Oh,
you're
okay.
submitting your thesis and your Viva is in after 8 to 10 years, most of the universities having limitation of 8 years. After 8 years, there will not be any Viva.
Pre-registrations, okay.
Re-registration should be done. So if re-registration is there, then you have to redefine your objective for re-registration, because you are registering again after 8 years. But your Viva is extended. If suppose it is, if you are registered in 17 and your Viva is supposed to be in 24, but extended to 25, in which your research work you have did, that is absolutely right. You can stick up with that. And just what will be your next question? Already work has been done. So you should be familiar with what new research has been done. That is main thing. You should be knowing that. And what you can say, just changing some these few things, I can also cope up with that. You should be able to tell it confidently. That is needed. Because
Okay.
5 year research work you cannot drastically change. So that will be
Yeah.
again re-registration of PhD. So for re-registration, your objective should be redefined with current literature. But if it extended, then you should be able to tell which changes has been done or which are the new technologies that are in market. You should be
Okay,
aware
so
of
it's
that.
can include that point in our PPT. No, though
No,
we
no,
had
no
not
need of
included in
no
PPT.
need of add.
Okay,
If and
only to
only
repeat
if you
that.
ask. So always put the things that in PPT that you are knowing well, and don't
Okay.
answer anything that is vague or that is not asked. That will be again problematic for us.
Thank you very much, sir. Excellently you have delivered.
Okay, there are few questions again.
For
Anyone
mainly,
is there?
hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Sir,
ask the question.
for using citations in the Mendeley references, sir, how is it possible to make it in the particular format for the particular journal?
No, again, every journal is having their own format, whether it means APS style or IEEE style and all that. So for that, they are also mentioning some tools. So what you can do, depend on that format. So every research publication publisher is giving some their format or template. Through that template also you can just do. So for that, what you can do, you can just go to ChatGPT also. You just give their reference and tell these are the following references. Just convert into that. Your references will automatically convert using AI. Actually, manually I have not used. For that, you can just go through that website, and through that you can go through some help. You will identify. There is no any issue. But most of the research journals always go with AP or IEEE style.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Uh, Professor Ganesh, sir,
Yes, sir.
there are few questions in chat box also.
Yeah, just that is what I am going to do. Okay. Thank you for your feedbacks. So one question is from Nike. So first of all, thank you. My question is for PhD, I have query regarding research methodology. Can research methodology be applied in an industry or company setting, or is it mandatory to conduct it through an academic institution? You can do anywhere, no issue. Depend on your research work, research domain, you can do in either way. So just consult with your guide and your the research institute where you are actually registered. From that you can do, no issue. What number of keywords should be there as a title of thesis? How we select sample size? So for thesis selection of title of thesis, that there is no any fixed keyword. Don't make it too short or don't make it too long. Always make sure that will give answer of why, what, and how. Means why means actually what you are going to do, why you are going to do, what you are going to do, and your research title should have some keyword that will mention which algorithm or which methodology you are going to use. For example, you can say brain abnormality detection using EEG signal analysis. So what is here? We have to do brain abnormality detection. If your brain is not working good, that is what the key point or that is what the problem statement. How I am going to do? Using EEG signal analysis. That is simple topic of research. So again, there are n number of topics. What you can do, you can first prepare your topic and you can ask to AI tools that what can be different thing, because now in today's era there are different AI tools. So always take help of AI tool and don't just copy and paste from that. You just use your intellectual to update that particular thing. Hope I have cleared your doubt. And about sample size, depend on again the requirement and the work that you are going to do, your sample size will be different, because in few some cases the sample size need more. If your work is related to medical, biomedical, or some critical thing, data set should be higher, but in some case it should be lower, no issue. Next question is it mandatory to publish 2 articles in Q1 and Q2 before synopsis? It's not like that. What is expected at the time of Viva, you should have 2 or 3 good journal papers. And if suppose you have published, you have submitted the paper and it is in process, and you have got the mail from that your publication has been already done and it is under process, that also can work. Again, it differs person to person, guide to guide, or university to university. Most of the university ask for 2 papers, and that too in Q1, Q2, or Q3. So like that, there is no any issue. So what is expected once you did your literature review? First paper should be your review paper. That is one part. That is already one paper has been done. There is no problem. Whichever research or whichever literature you have used there, it is not compulsory that you have to use in last thesis also. Second, once you've done objective 1, 2, 3, always go through paper related to objective 1, objective, and objective 3, no issue. Because what will happen if rule gets changed, or if your external Viva examiner will be interested in more papers, then it's always okay to go with papers step by step. Already there are 5 years, 4 to 5 years for our research, because most of the Most of us are doing part-time only. So in 5 years, publishing 2 or 3 papers is not a hard task. So you can just go with first literature review, then objective 1 or 2, and last one, that is complete thesis. That is okay. And don't go with all results in a single paper. Keep your results pending for further papers. That will be always useful. References or literature survey should have author name with dates. It is mandatory for a research paper. Yeah, literature survey you cannot go with author name. If author names are multiple, what you can do? First author name, and you can use it al, et, etc. That is also okay. No need of each and every author. And about the date, no need of August and all. Just you can say year 2024, 2013. That is also okay. Literature you already have given in the reference. All details are there. You can just what you do. This person name, that is author etal, has used this paper here address like this, and just you have to give citation there. That citation will take that reviewer to that references. He will get to know everything. Make sure whatever literature review you are going to do, that literature review should be from present to last as per your style of reference. Means, as I said, reference should be recent one first, then older one. Your literature review should also be in same sequence. How to make review on PhD topics, sir? I mean, whether I have to add all the details of my work or only related to topic. Like my topic is somewhat related to diabetes, grads, bilayer tablet. Can you please guide exactly how its review should be done? Review paper is just what? Your objectives are clear. No need to mention objective. Depend on your objective. If you are searching 20 to 30 papers through your literature review, just take the papers that are most important to you for study purpose. Just take that papers, only take their, as I earlier said, read abstract, read conclusion, read their methodology, and just summarize each and every paper, and you can just combine these all papers, and that will be a review paper. So these AI tools nowadays are again most important. You can just write a title, or you can just copy paste that paper, and you can just ask for summarize this paper for this and this. The AI tool will give summary of that whole paper. There's no need to read each and everything. So just which paper you have to select, for that you have to read your abstract and conclusion. That should be most easier.
Yeah.
Any more
Anybody
questions
else?
are there?
Dear participants, kindly clarify your doubts through chat box or unmuting your mics. I repeat, dear participants, kindly clarify your doubts through chat box or unmuting your mics. Sir, there is one more question
Okay.
in chat box.
Okay, just now I got. If I have taken new topic which don't have much literature survey, what I can do? Okay. So for that you can do, if your topic is, see whichever topic you are taking, there will be at least some similar one. If it is inventive, totally new, there is no need of any literature. What actually you do? Suppose if you are taking new technology, if in case suppose if I consider communication, 5G, 4G, 3G, right? If I'm going for 6G, then there is no literature survey of 6G, so you can take help of 5G or 4G, older technology. That will be always applicable or useful one. And for that also, the same question you can ask to ChatGPT also, no issue. ChatGPT will tell something there. And one most important, or like what I felt about ChatGPT is having older data. It is not updated to recent year. So if you are asking in 25 about paper published in January 25, it will not tell because its database has not been updated. Are there any more questions? Actually, already is 8:56. And
Yeah.
thank you for your
Actually,
patience listening.
yeah, sir. Professor Ganesh, sir,
Yes,
can
sir.
you, can you recap the entire session in
Okay.
10 minutes of time
Okay.
with the help of
Actually,
PPT?
okay, sure. Actually, the topic that I took was from Synopsis to Viva, crafting an impactful thesis. I have used different tools here. I have given different tools, but I cannot elaborate or cannot go with hands-on here because as already I had less time. So I just went through some reviews. This PPT will definitely help you to go through this. So what actually we have started with, what actually synopsis is and what actually proposal is. So synopsis and proposal are two different terms. What actually proposal is and what actually synopsis. Synopsis is a brief structured document that outlines the key elements of your research from title and objective to methodology and expected outcome. So just make sure the difference. Synopsis is submitted after your results has been drawn. So once you get results, you can submit your synopsis, and synopsis will work as entry pass or entry gate for your final dissertation. What is research proposal? Research proposal is something or some document that is submitted at the time of start of your journey of research, where you have to just elaborate your objective, what you are expecting, what different methodology you are going to use. Now again, whichever things you are writing in your research proposal, if suppose you are telling that this objective or methodology I'm going to use, that is not compulsory, that will go up to 4 or 5 years. That can be changed because it is proposal again. But in case of synopsis, whatever you are going to mention, that should be perfectly accurate one, and that are only considered in your thesis. That is the most important difference between your synopsis and proposal. We have seen different purposes of proposal. That it is communication tool, feasibility check, it should have clarity, and it is just blueprint of research. So as a civil engineer, what you do, he just give a blueprint of your home design. What is that? That is just imaginative one, and depend on that your home is constructed. So once your blueprint is ready, you cannot change anything during the construction. So common section in research proposal, I said title, introduction, problem statement, objective, literature review, methodology, timeline, references. Whichever things we are going to do, each and everything should be perfect one. What I suggest, if you are early researcher, you are in early phase of researcher, first divide your these things, title, introduction, problem statement, objective. Just go step by step. First prepare your title. For that, if you take 20 to 30 days, it's okay, good, no issue. Once your title is finalized, there is no issue, because I have heard many times whenever you submit title in your research proposal, research presentation, then there are reviews from university that you have to change your title. Again, it will take 10 to 15 days delayed for your registration. So whichever title you are going to finalize, make sure it is compact one, clear one, and most suitable one. A good proposal, as I said, clear what we are going to, 3 questions, what, why, and how. These most 3 questions you should be clear with. If you are clear with these 3 points, what, why, and how, you should be able to make it understand to next person. I have said different tools here that is needed for checking or for getting a topic. What the topic should have? Topic should have novelty. It should show some interest, and it should be feasible one. Framing research hypothesis, as I said, clear and focused, researchable and specific to our field. Defining objective and scope. Objectives, that are the thing that we are going to get after our research, and scope is nothing but define the boundary on which point we have to stretch our research. How to frame research objective, different analytical, comparative, creative, evaluative, and exploratory, depend on which topic we are doing research. These things will be varied. Time frame, geographical area, population, variables, technology or tools exclusion. These are the things that we have to decide while finalizing our scope. For example, I have given time frame January to June 24. If you are registering 24, then you should have time frame of 3 years or minimum 3 years to 5 years. That is again depend on your condition, family situation, or your work issue. Like that you have to decide. Geographical area, you can take any geographical area. Suppose here again one thing, if there is a research on some particular Maharashtra, if you are out of Maharashtra, you can use the same statement, same problem statement that is related to another geographical area. Whichever thing is in Maharashtra, it will not work, or it will work differently in other city or other state. That is also okay. There is no any problem. Population you can change. Variables you can change. Technology or tools you can change. If suppose some are defining the things on students of engineering, you can go with students of law or students of medical. So that is also okay, no issue. Tools already I have said. For most of the topic, I have suggested some tools, and most of the tools are common one. Title, background, as I said, that is clear and specific. Clear and specific title only if you are clear with your topic, then already you have win your research. These are different points that we have discussed. Need of problem statement. One most important thing Viva will be why you selected this topic. You should be confident to tell why you selected. And whatever why you have selected that answer, if it is confident, then there is no problem. And if you're confident enough, you know why you are selected, then obviously you can give any other answers too. Literature review, research gap, this is the most important thing about literature review. But in today's era or today's day-to-day life, it is more painful to read because already we have forgot how to read and why to read. Without any interest, we cannot read. So for that, I have given one smart way. Start with abstract, most simple thing. Jump to conclusion. About introduction, read first and last. That will be again most important because if you are going to check any movie, what you do? You go with trailer. What actually you do? You just check first start of movie, in between and end of movie. If movie end is perfect, then again your interest gets created. So like that, you can skim your introduction, read first and last para, examine figure and tables. What you do? Before watching movie, you first check the songs and dialogues. If you like, you go with that. So like that, you can go with the figures and tables. Read mythology, whether it is action movie or whether it is romantic movie, whether it is horror movie, that also we can take. So mythology will tell what actually you are going to do there. Read discussion and decide whether you have to keep that or skip that. Means whether you have to book tickets for that or not. That will be decided using the trailer. Addition manager, as I said, identifying the research gap is most important. That will clear your work, what actually you are going to do. Creating a gap map, useful tools, sample mind map, AI tools to help you find gaps. These are different tools. In last column, I have given whether it's a free or paid. Free, no issue, you can use it in full resources, full facility, but for paid, you will be having only limited if you are not paying the consultation fee. Research methodology, as I said, it is again of different type. Depend on your work, it should be different. Already I have given one link. If you're interested, if you have filled, you might have understood your answer, whether it is qualitative, quantitative, or it is mixed one. It is just a simple. It's not that answering that will be final one. But just for example, I have given one survey or tool to take your information. These are different tools that you can check, and whichever tool you want to study, there are different videos in YouTube. You can just go through that, and whichever tools are there, just go to their professional website. There you will get some help document. Through that also you can go with some information how to use that. Samples and data collection, as I said, depend on which data you are going to work, which data set you need, depend on the critical thing of your research. The sample size will vary. Depend on the data size, depend on sample size, your different tools will be finalized. Valid and reliability, as I said, validity. Are you measuring? So whichever things we are measuring, whether we are going on the same track, that we have to check, that is validity and reliability. Whether results are consistent across time. Means if suppose I am doing one survey today, its results are XYZ, and after a few months, if the results are same, then we can see whichever survey we are doing, whichever methodology I am doing, that is perfect one. Most important thing in your research is ethical background. So whichever thing you are going to do, always follow the ethics. Without ethics, your research will have zero value. So take consent from the participant, make it private and confidential. Plagiarism, always avoid plagiarism. Don't copy anything from the other. If you want to copy, you can refer that paper. From paper, you refer the things, you make it understood and write it in your own way. There is no any issue. That is not thing that the whichever things you are writing that should be perfectly technical only. You can use your own simple illustrative knowledge, illustrative statement. I have given this quiz. If you have solved, you might have got its answer, no issue. About thesis, as I said, understanding the thesis structure, these are different theses. As I said, whenever you are starting for your introduction work, always start chapter by chapter, finish your introduction, finish your literature. Once out of your 5 years, if you complete 3 years, minimum your introduction literature part should be finished. Again, once you are done literature, reference part is also finished because literature is just the papers that we are using in references. If during the 3-4 years, if you came across a new paper that you can add at later, that is not a matter. But whichever references already are used and you say that are relevant to your topic, you can just make it in reference type and make it literature and summary of that. That is better. Common mistake that we need to avoid: plagiarism. Either intentionally or unintentionally, you never copy anything from the other. Objective should be perfect one. Structure of flow of chapter should be always good. Overuse of passive voice or vague words we have to avoid. Incorrect citation formatting always avoid, because I have seen the review. They many times they also give that here dot is missing, comma is missing. These are also you in your thesis. If there are most of the reviews like this, then again it is a problematic. So make sure comma, dot, whichever things are there, that should be perfect. And if you're writing name should start with caps. So you are doing the research. What we feel research is important, but with research, this writing is also important. You should have some writing skills also. Incorrect citation format, lack of proofread. Plagiarism checking tools, and one most important request: whichever tools you are going to use for your research paper or research work, always use authenticated one. Otherwise, whichever things are your own work, that will be copied from the others, and your own work will be thought as plagiarism at the time of thesis. That is also again problematic. Referencing style, as I said, these are different tools. For LaTeX, you can use Overleaf, it is a free version. Most important, start early, use Grammarly, follow formatting guide, use LaTeX if you need. Iteration should be done, because multiple iteration you have to do, multiple times you have to write your chapter, you have to give it to your guide. Guide should read it, which he or she should give review, and you have to update accordingly. Proofread or use peer reviews. Facing with Viva, the most important or final step of your research will be facing the Viva confidently. If your confidence is perfect, if you did your research truthfully, then there is no need to worry about any Viva. Viva will be always perfect one. It is opportunity to defend your work. Already you have did, you can tell in your own words, no need to worry. Demonstrate your understanding, engage in academic discussion. The goal is not, again, listen, the goal is not the perfection. It's clarity, honesty, and confidence. If you're telling honestly, you will always have ball in your court. This is presentation structure. Everyone will tell according to their thing, no issue. You can just consent with your guide. And for PPT also, you have to go with 2 or 3 revisions. You have to just make sure in PPT, whichever point, whichever thing you are putting, each and everything you should be knowing clearly. Don't put something that you don't know. If you don't know, just clearly delete that slide, no issue. These are different questions I have given. These will be different questions. Practice answers. Practice is the only thing that you can answer and that you can face your Viva confidently. Keep it in minimum time as per prescribed time. Make rehearsal. Focus on your contribution. Use 3-4 keywords per slide. Control press 1 slide per 60 to 90 seconds as per your thing or as per your excitement. So just be calm, be relaxed, and face your Viva. If you can take some help, some points you can write on your pages, that also you can help, use as a help, no issue. These are different visual aids you can get anywhere. What will be your presentation? Most of the now in current era, there are different AI tech tools that will create your PPT, wonderful one. That also you can do, no issue. Just make sure wherever you are sharing your data, your paper, make sure your thesis should not be shared with even your colleague. Because through sharing, if it is misplaced somewhere, then whichever work is you say that you claim it is your work, that can be copied to others. And if suppose it is your work and before publication of your paper another person have published it, then your research paper will be totally plagiarized or copied. So it will be always rejected. So make sure. This is the last conclusion that I want to tell again. An impactful thesis is not just well researched, it's well presented, ethically written, and confidently defended. That's all about today's session. Thank you very much for your patiently listening. And
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Sir, few more questions are there. Quick
okay.
questions we can see.
As a beginner, which research paper website I can publish my research paper? Okay, so for that, see, if you're going for different publications, publishers, you can say, as a researcher, never compromise on your quality of research publication. Though it may take 2, 3, or 4 months, it is okay, no issue. But always publish your paper in good publishers or good journals that will be impactful in your Viva. Because I saw many things, or I took experience from many people. If your researches are in standard one, then there is least probability to ask questions in your Viva. What he will do, he will just listen to your work. Okay, you have did very nice work. Your presentations are in so and so journal. You did very well. There will be just simple 1 or 2 questions. Your Viva is simply over. There will not be any question because your publication itself represent that you are doing a perfect or excellent work. So instead of making hurry in publication, what you do, just find out different journals about your area, in which area you are working, top journals in your area having quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, or having high impact factor. Then sort out that, make 2 or 3 papers, separate it out that, and go for publication. If your publication is perfect one, there is no need to worry about your thesis. It will be always submitted and successfully done. If we can't defend
Yeah,
Viva properly, will they cancel this or ask to give Viva again? Dilshad Begum. Okay. So this is the most important thing. Now also you are thinking about low confidence. So what I'm saying, never think what will happen later. That is a matter of task, matter of time, matter of luck. What you do, whatever you know, just try to speak. You will win. Don't worry about that, about the end result. Anyhow, you are going to win. Don't worry. If your research is perfect, your publication will speak, your results will speak, everything will speak. Huh? If you fail somewhere, no issue. You can take some pause and you can tell in different way or different language, no issue, in simple way. That is also okay. There will not be any such thing, and hope you will give it very confidently. Don't think negative. Enlist few journals for computer science, sir. Again, what I'm saying, IEEE is there, Scopus Index journal is there. What you have to do, go to scopuspreview.com. In Scopus, you can find out different journals. In that, you can publish. And one most important, in today's era, what is happening? There are clone journals. So Scopus, SCOPUS is also there. Scopus, SCOPAS is also there. If you are publishing in Scopus, SCOPAS in clone journal, then it is always waste of your time, waste of your energy. So always go with authenticated journal sites, website. For that, visit your university. University has also listed some journals that you can find out, that you can do. No issue.
yeah, sir. There is one more question at 9:04 p.m. Uh,
Let me
sir,
check.
right
Hello,
now
sir.
this is my third. Just a moment. Just a
Hello.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good evening, sir. Sir, my question is that recently in newspaper it has been declared that those who are going for PhD thesis, so they don't have to publish any of the paper.
No, in which paper you have read that?
Uh, Last week itself only means in newspaper it has been said that uh, publishing paper it's not mandatory till your final thesis is not been submitted like that. So
No, but what will
like that.
happen? Listen, if suppose you
UGC.
you submitted your thesis, right?
Huh.
And after that, if your publication has not been selected, then what you will do?
Okay.
So till you get proper message from your university, from your guide, or from authenticate channel, never
Sir,
think about
newspaper
that.
it is. That is
Yeah,
a newspaper
news.
and
Listen,
headline.
ma'am.
It was
Newspaper headline
UGC.
is there. Yeah, newspaper headline is there, but there is no any
Yeah.
GR.
Article is there.
Article is there, but whether is there any
Huh.
GR?
Uh,
If GR is there, then okay. Because see, in
okay,
last
okay.
I think 6 months, there are 4 universities that
Huh.
has been banned by UGC, right?
Okay,
There
huh,
were
yeah.
different news. There were different news, but that was not clear. Once they given the GR from
Huh.
UGC, from AICTE, that these are the thing they have given straightforward that don't take admission here. That is okay. That is valid proof.
Okay.
So most of the time depend on only GR document, government document only are proof. Without that, don't go through any document or all.
Okay,
Because
sir.
previously I have
Yeah.
also heard that for PhD they are going
Huh.
for a all India exam, but still it is not
Huh.
there. From last year also, last year only that news was there, but still there is no any conclusion. University to university, it will
Huh, huh.
change.
And recently also one of the circular has come. Those who did MPhil, they are exempted from net set and all that recently, 3 days before, like that. So
Okay,
what
so
to rely and what to believe?
no, for that,
It's
what you see,
sometimes, yeah. Huh.
in which university you are going to apply? First,
Mumbai
talk to
University,
that
because we are from Mumbai.
Mumbai University. So
Yeah.
just go to Mumbai University official website.
Okay.
There they are
Huh.
giving different GR, different announcement in PhD center. Then you can go
Okay.
with. If you are having contact, if you are in Mumbai, you can just go and directly ask them. That will be there. If exemption is there, there will be that will be there. There is no any issue.
Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir.
No issue. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, Professor Ganesh, there is
Yes,
one
sir.
question from Poonam Ankush. Sir, right now this is my third year. So can I publish a review paper now? It's
Okay,
by
third
Poonam
year. Are you doing
Ankush.
this? Okay, Poonam Jadhav. How to make
Poonam
review
Ankush.
on
Yeah.
PhD topics? I mean, whether I have to add all the details. Poonam Ankush Jadhav, are you telling about Sen?
Yeah. At 9:04 p.m. 9:04 p.m.
Okay, previously also
Sir,
she
right
asked
now
one
this is my
question.
third year.
Okay,
Actually, first she wrote, "Thank you very much. I am extending my question a
okay,
little
right now
bit."
this is my third
Sir,
year,
right
so
now.
can I publish you? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
no issue. Because see, now you are in third year, but till now, if you are not published anything, you can just start with the review paper. That will be one added one publication for your Viva. Then you can go with your actual objective. Because review paper will get published earlier because it will not have any results and all. So that is better thing. You can go now also, no issue. And about research papers, what you do? Always ask your guide, because if I say these are the research papers that are good one, but depend on your university, your guide, that may or may not work. So always consent with guide. If guide says this is the thing, so always do that. No issue. Because guide
Yeah.
support is most important in your Viva and thesis. Whatever thing will
Yes.
happen, if guide is supporting, your Viva is successfully completed. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So,
Thank you, sir.
shall we stop here, sir?
Okay, sir, no issue. If no one having any question, we will stop here.
Um, so, on behalf of Speaker Sir and on behalf of Highland Tech Institute, we are very much thankful to all participants for their active participation and active involvement. And on behalf of participants and on behalf of Highland Tech Institute, we are very much thankful to our Speaker Sir for his elaborative and informative session.
Thank you, sir.
With
It's
this,
my
we'll stop
pleasure.
here. Once again, we'll meet in some other online events. So till then, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, Speaker Sir. Thank you, participants. Good night,
Thank you, everyone.
Speaker Sir. Good night,
Thank
participants.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir. So tomorrow by evening, you will get all your e-certificates in WhatsApp group. And soon after this session, we will share the feedback link as well as recording and PPT. Soon after this session, we will share the feedback link, recording and PPT. And tomorrow evening, you will get all your e-certificates in delegates WhatsApp group. Sorry, in WhatsApp group. Thank you. Good night.